Hello again, my little conscripts, and welcome to another Mordian Glory video. But is it even a Mordian Glory video, or is it in fact a SaltCast? Because I am joined by the man, the myth, the legend, Admiral Simon! Simon, how are you doing today?
It's been ages since we've done one of these.
It's been a long while. It's been a hot minute. Yeah.
It's been a nice break.
It is always funny how you'll go away for a couple of weeks and then come back and you'll be like, we'll do a battle report or we'll do a SaltCast. And it's like you forget in the interim, like how positive energy I am.
Oh, honestly, it's just like, shut up with you. 2 minutes. Just let me have a strop without you having a full-on ADHD fit in the background.
Yeah.
Honestly, I tell you what, read the room.
No, I am the room.
I'll just sit there and be grumpy in the background and let you do your thing. I think that's the easiest way.
No, we need to bring you to the fore. That's the thing. You are the foil. You are the salty foil to my ADHD riddled energy. There we are. But we had a game of Old World the other day, didn't we?
We did, yes.
And it was with the new Renegade Crowns versus your beloved High Elves.
Yes, you seem very excited. That's just like perfect. I was like your whole... Right. I hope he puts a Randy Marsh bloody screenshot in that.
I'll see if I can get to do it for the thumbnail.
It may as well be. That was the whole game. You just being Randy Marsh.
Yeah. I mean, it does feel like the Renegade Crowns Arcane Journal was written for me.
Yes.
Like tailor-made, written for me. So what we're going to do today, guys, is we're going to do a bit of an after-action report on the game, what we think, specific things that happen in that game. So obviously be aware there will be spoilers, but we're also going to do a bit of a analysis of the Renegade Crowns, what we thought were, worked with them, where we think there could be some weaknesses and where there's some strengths, and maybe just talk a little bit about the, the road to the tournament. The road to the tournament, ticket bought.
I have got the ticket. I'm regretting it.
No.
Well, I'm not. I'm going to get really frustrated because I'll go all these bloody things that I still don't know properly in this game. There's so many layers upon layers upon layers. So it's going to be an interesting learning curve.
What I think will happen is you'll go to the tournament, you'll learn loads of new things, and then in our next game, you'll be able to no, Mordian, here. We don't call me one, you call me Tim. No, Tim, here.
Okay. Don't call you Tim either.
Yeah. No, dickhead.
Yeah, there we go. We got there in the end.
Check the rules here. So yeah, that's the plan. And so without further ado, Simon, what did you think of the new Renegade Crowns?
Well, you tell you what, I thought they're quite interesting, to be fair. Like those, how buffed up you can make your what do you call it? Your line troops is ridiculous.
Yeah, I really liked the fact that I can have halberdiers in full plate armor. I was like, I'm going toe to toe with sword masters here. It
was ridiculous.
It's the fact that I got a 6-up save and you got a 6-up save, but sometimes you didn't get a 6-up save because of halberds.
I'm just like, what is going on?
Yeah,
but yeah, they were really good. Fair play, they were really good.
I think it's what I thought was quite interesting was seeing the different. They're all basically the same unit profile, but how different each unit felt depending on what equipment they had. So the halberdiers of full plate, I think, will become an absolute staple of any list because they could take on anything, happily take on anything. They had the numbers to take on big things, and they had numbers to take on other hordes, and they had the strength and the weapon skill to go toe to toe with more elite units as well.
Yes, fully buffed up.
Yeah, Earthen Ramparts, man. I'd forgotten how good Earthen Ramparts is. Just it's nothing like a 5-up ward. Nothing like it. It was so
especially your rolls as well.
I've got a cat coming onto the desk now. Different cat this time.
Well, which one's this?
I've got Mr. Man on here today. Are you coming over? Come on, you. Just going to have to do a cat transplant. Whee!
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Oh, it's fallen over.
I can still see his ears.
There you go. He'll hop down now. So anyway, where were Earthen Rampart? He's like an Earthen Rampart. He does smell of earth anyway. Poor cat. But yeah, man, I'd forgotten. I actually do quite like magic. It's just that I've been trying to use like battle magic for months. I'm just not gelled with it. It's all about the elementalism, man.
I must admit, we'll come on to this a bit later. I'm playing around with my next little cheeky idea.
Oh, the conversation's flowing.
No, we'll do. We'll do your dream old world army first, shall we? Let's let you wax lyrical and make some faces that are going to stay with people for a long time in their nightmares.
So I really liked the full plate halberdiers. I was pleasantly surprised by the spearmen.
Yes,
because they were actually, it's because they're on a 4-up save. In my experience in Old World, there's basically no difference between a 5-up save and a 6-up save, but there's actually quite a big difference in a 4-up save. The moment you hit that 4+, it seems like actually it means something.
What, you're saving an extra 50%, are you? Is that or an extra 33%?
I feel like it's because you actually get a save, because a lot of the time, if you're on a 6-up save, 8-1, which is prevalent.
Yeah, you're on 6s, aren't you? So you're on 5. Yeah. Or
heavy armor. I don't know. Fishing. It's interesting. Fishing for 5s on a ward is fine, but fishing for 5s on armor never seems to go very well for me.
It's quite painful.
But yeah, the moment you get that 4-up save, which you can do with heavy armor and shields, I thought was quite nice actually.
Yeah.
But I really want to try heavy armor, shield, and hand weapon, because then I'll be on a 3-up save base.
And
I think it's heavy armor's 2 points per model, and shield is 1 point per model. So that would be 7 points per model for a 3-up save.
What? Just base?
Just base. 4 points.
So you can have a block of 30. All right, with whatever it costs for the character upgrade and the command. For 210 points on a 3-up save.
But they don't have very much damage output because it's just strength 3. It's just strength 3 attacks. No AP.
You don't want it to have that much. You just sit it there, so surely you can go, yeah.
Just go do that, and then what you do, because you're just expected to do no damage back, you just go in like one of those massive columns. So you're getting like infinite rank bonus, which is really important to keep your leadership high. So I would go 4x7 long backwards, because you can go do that with your Telian like phalanx rules.
Yeah.
And so basically, until you lose like 4 ranks, you go to be on like leadership 10.
Bloody hell.
And just be like, we're not breaking. We're not breaking.
I mean, that's even less. That's only 28, isn't it?
Yeah.
196 points plus your command. Oh, no. Horrible.
That's pretty good. Yeah. And you've got to take some of them because of your core anyway, right? So.
Yeah. But I think that's such a difference between the one thing I noticed with elves in the last 2 games and certainly I know it's somehow sneak the draw or whatever, but spoilers. But the high elves core are shit compared to it seems to be like where you've got some spearmen that are a bit, but coming on to high elves later, but that is a really strong core unit.
Yeah.
Just flunking on an objective and going, if you've not got anything core that's punchy, you're not going to be able to take that off any kind of objective whatsoever. You can put that on King of the Hill and just go, yeah, come on then.
Yeah. 3-up save against most shooting, 3-up save against combat. Obviously, it's going to get degraded by AP, but sheer numbers. Yeah. I like I said, what I love is just the flexibility of the unit. The fact that you can have them as regular sellswords or veteran sellswords. There's only a 1 point difference between the two, and that gives you a pip of weapon skill, which is great. The fact that you could have a unit which is in heavy armor and shield, 3-up save, or you could have a unit which is in full plate with halberds, which gives you that punch. Obviously, one's more expensive than the other. And you've got literally got everything from just dirt cheap tanks all the way up to more to like elite greatsword and halberdier style troops, and all of it is covered by basically this one unit entry, and all of it is covered by core. I think it's just so phenomenal and so powerful as a capability, and I think that's the defining point of the army, that you have some of the most flexible infantry in the game, even more so than I would say things like orcs and goblins and Empire, which is kind of wild. If you look at a lot of old world units, they do tend to be quite. They always remind me of like 40k Eldar. Like they do what they do. They're not that flexible in terms of the loadout. Like, look at your spearmen, for example. You get spearmen or you get bowmen.
Yeah.
That's kind of it.
Yeah. No, I honestly thought I was so impressed with them. And it just, now you've told me what you can do for sub 200 points. I really,
Simon wants a Renegade Crowns army.
No, not my style at all. But that aesthetically, I mean, that's definitely. But I mean, it's just, I mean, you literally have two of those blocks, 400 points. There's two massive anvils, really, you know, and then crazy, yeah.
Well, it gets even crazier, Simon. Let's really go on the crazy train. So you can take heavy armor and shield, and then you can take crossbows and handguns.
So they're going to be 3 up ranged troops.
Which, when you get into combat with them, they
switch to a hand weapon.
They switch to a hand weapon and shield.
Like 4 up, 3 up, basically. 4 up in.
No, still 3 up at shooting, because the heavy armor and shield. Oh, no, that would be 4 up, then 3 up in melee.
Yeah,
or if you give them full plate, you can give them full plates. They could be 3 up, 3 up.
How many points are they?
They're expensive. So if you go heavy armor and shield and crossbow, I believe it's 9 points per model.
It's not expensive.
How much a Sea Guard?
God, it's going to make me cry now. Should know this. I was just trying to. Right, so an basic elven spearman is 9 points a model.
Nice.
No, it's not nice. What are you paying 9 points a model for?
Extra initiative, extra movement, extra leadership.
Yes, basically.
Bear in mind, Simon, that if I take a brick of 20 of my guys, and let's presume I deploy them in 2 ranks of 10 for good shooting, right? Yeah. And then someone does 5 casualties to my unit, I'll be on leadership 5 before I might panic and run.
Right, as a unit of 10.
As a unit of 20, if I take 25% casualties, I have to do a panic test. Now, because I'm above half strength, I will fall back. But let's say I'm on a hill, take 5 casualties, inevitably fail my leadership 5 test, run off the hill.
I mean, there are drawbacks, but there's not going to be much in terms of shit. I mean, that's an artillery blast, isn't it? The cannon's not going to do it because it's only going to go through 2 rows.
It's one of those things where armies like Wood Elves and other armies with half decent shooting would actually be able to deal with that.
I mean, maybe Sea Guard or with a Razor Banner would help. Do something like that. I get that. But even so, I mean, a Sea Guard, to give it a Sea Guard with a shield is 12 points.
Yeah. I think the leadership's a really big one, though. I think a lot of people are underestimating how impactful that can be, because if you go in that sort of big ranged manner and you try and make this like ultra like death block, the problem you're going to have is when you're wide, your leadership is low. And then there's all sorts of things.
You're not getting,
exactly. Leadership, so you have to go deep. So at that point, you're going to get less shooting attacks. So it's crazy, man. It's almost like they've thought it through.
I know, that's a bit worrying, that, isn't it? Tell you what.
It's crazy.
Could be an interesting gun line, though, especially with all the cannons and volley guns and all the other stuff. That, that's... Yeah, all right, you might lose a unit. How many points is that for a unit of...
Crossbow, we'll say crossbowers. So it would be 9 points per guy.
With plate, shield...
With heavy armor and shield and crossbows.
That's not it. And it's core.
And it's core.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's not bad. You just have to take 30 of them, and I think if you took 30 of them, how I'd probably do it is I would maybe go 8 by 4, and then I just have like one rank that's like a partial rank or something. And that way, because you can still get a rank bonus from that partial rank until it's dead. And then you still fire. Then you're sort of firing 8 shots a turn, which can do some chip damage. And then when someone charges you, you can do 8 shots as well on the stand and shoot, which can be quite nice. And then also, what's important to remember is obviously if you face off someone who's a large target, like everyone in the unit can shoot them, because large targets. So then you end up really unleashing quite a serious blast against something like a dragon, which can be quite big.
And there's definitely some play with that. But I mean, this is all off one unit. That is so flexible. I really like
all
that.
Off one unit, one entry.
Yeah.
Now,
I definitely like that.
I do think we need to talk about what the Renegade Crowns. So we have, I think, well established that the Renegade Crown Infantry is very good and we like it, and it's very flexible and it's Build-A-Bear, and it's probably, I would say, some of the best core infantry in the game.
And then you can do great swords with core,
Exactly. What I think we need to talk about is what the army doesn't have.
Yeah.
And the army doesn't have monsters and doesn't have great ways of dealing with enemy monsters. Because the cannons, they're not as strong as great cannons, so they're only wounding a lot of monsters on 3s rather than the usual 2s. And there's no engineers, so there's that. It's not often, what you realize is it's not really about the using the engineer to re-roll the misfire dice. It's about to avoid the misfire. It's about re-rolling the artillery dice so you actually hit what you're trying to hit.
Yeah.
Because there were a few times when I just didn't hit because I didn't have an engineer to basically correct the shot.
Yeah, but I thought, I mean, let's be honest, you roll pretty well with your artillery. Only one blew up, and that was on the last turn. And I thought it was pretty good, to be fair. I mean,
you always say this when you're facing the guns, though, don't you?
It's weird, but sometimes, when you've got it, you think this is crap, and when you're facing it, you think it's horrific. And there's no rhyme or reason to it.
I do think they'd struggle into monsters.
It did give you the flexibility, though, not to employ everything in like this big cannon Death Star. So actually, all right, you might. Is having an engineer better? Yeah, of course it is. But actually, it then forces, particularly if you're coming up against, say, that dragon, it's or something like that, where actually you've got this massive, great big target that if you can get the monster into them easily enough, then you've got a real problem. It's easy to hide stuff. You've got, especially got column of crystal, things like that, where you can kind of do a few shenanigans. So it does give you that I thought it did give you that kind of tactical freedom more than as opposed to just putting everything on one big group on one big hill.
That's true. Being able to not having the engineers and being able to spread the guns out was actually, I really liked that. The fact that I didn't just have to put everything on the hill, and I was like, actually, I'm going to have this cannon here and this here, and only going to have I think I only had one thing on the hill in the end, didn't I? Yeah. That was actually a surprising benefit. So I do agree that the ability to spread the guns out is very, very nice.
Because if you're all in one place, you'd have had 1, maybe 2 turns of shooting to kill my dragon before the dragon would have, because I'd have,
gotten amongst them.
So, if you'd have put them all on the hill on your right, my left, I'd have deployed the dragon somewhere over there, fly, march, whatever, 1, and then charge a second. So
and then you're there.
Yeah. So would you kill it in 1 turn with 2 cannons and a volley gun?
No.
Possibly with your rolling, my saving, but unlikely in a normal game. So you then might be better off splitting it up anyway. Then you're paying for an engineer for just 1 unit. So I don't know. I would have rather you put everything all in one big clump, to be honest. When you split it all up, I don't like that.
It's just, I wonder how, and I'd love for people in chat, because obviously some people are going to be watching this video and they're going to be, leaving comments and stuff. And there'll be people who will have already greatly dissected this book and have figured some things out, some of the puzzle out. If anyone's got any ideas on how Renegade Crowns can deal with big monsters, maybe with like some characters, is there like a good character loadout that they can do? Or is it just going to come down to the fact that you deal with them via guns? Because if you look at what Renegade's Crowns can take any mercenaries, which is something I've not looked into, but apparently you can get like a giant in your Renegade Crowns army, which is kind of cool. But I just think like, if I encountered several large monsters, I don't know what I would do against it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
I couldn't deal with one dragon.
Yeah, but then what you need to do is have an opponent who's a raving prat who doesn't really know how to work dragons yet. So that kind of works quite well as well.
That does help. I won't lie, that does help. But yeah, I struggled to make my cavalry work in that game, but I suspect that was maybe a bit of a misplay on my
I thought you did quite well. No, I thought, because actually that cavalry took out my dragon for most of the game just by the way you played that.
That's true. I do wonder if I would have been better if everything had been over, because my greatswords didn't really do much that game, right? So I do wonder if it would have been better if I'd had everything shifted over by sort of 6 inches, so that it was infantry. The halberdiers versus the dragon is quite interesting, and then it was my spearmen versus the versus your sword masters, which is basically this. It's extra strength. I think that balances out to basically being the same, frankly.
Yeah.
And then we've got the great swords versus the versus your spearmen, and then my cavalry on that flank, and then my cavalry does a big flanky sweep. I wonder how that would have gone potentially.
Yeah.
But I'm a little worried that Renegade Crowns can't really deal with monsters. But I'm sure there's some angles I've not seen, like via mercenaries, via guns, or via characters. I'm sure there's some angles that, or maybe that's just a weakness. Not every army can handle everything.
Well, yeah. I mean, you get nice infantry. I mean, how much of a monster meta is it anymore? It's not.
I always encounter one.
Yeah.
I always encounter one every game. Like whether it's Tomb Kings and Unfated Necrosphinx, or it's some kind of elf on a dragon, I always encounter one.
Yeah.
And Bretonian's still taking their dude on the big griffin. That counts as a monster character in my mind.
That's only toughness 6, is it?
Yeah, but it's still enough for me to struggle against it with, like, in melee, typically.
Yeah, not fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
But shall we move on to the High Elves?
We can do.
What did you think?
I might have to face up to the fact that I was wrong and white lines are better than sword masters.
Okay. It's because the core, isn't it?
No, because that's only if you do a white line army. And I probably haven't got the models to do a white line or army. But I've come up with, so I think there's certainly too many points in that Doom block. So that's coming out. But the white lines have got a really cool rule, which I quite like. And I'm probably overly paranoid about challenges.
Okay.
Too much world.
Oh, is that where every single one of them can take a challenge?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I have to have your warlord in the order. What I'm thinking is I could take, right, because your mages are only leadership 8 and your nobles leadership 9.
Right.
So as opposed to having a noble, a prince, and a mage all in one block, and then I run into the same problem. It's just the same problem, it's slightly different.
Yeah.
I could go with a Stormweaver.
What the hell's a Stormweaver?
Oh, a Stormweaver is a mage.
Okay.
But the leadership 9.
Okay.
So I don't have a prince.
Okay.
So I can promote Helene to being a Stormweaver.
Right.
And put her in with my.
Can you give her a big axe?
I can't give her a big axe. That's what you can't give her. You can't give her a what you call it, a Stormweaver. You can't give her an Elven honor. But what it does mean, because she's my general, she can still go in with the White Lions.
Yes. So she's going with the White Lions. So your highest leadership character has to be your warlord.
Yes.
So you wouldn't be able to have anyone else who's leadership higher than leadership 9.
Yes, but then I'm saving the points on having a prince because I don't think the prince really did anything in that. So if I'm not convinced if I put a prince in that block, the prince is going to do that much more anyway.
Yeah.
So if I put the Stormweaver in there, I'm just thinking of different because like how I can spread a few more characters around.
Yeah.
Put a Stormweaver in there.
So could you give her? How does Spectral Doppelganger work? You can use it on a magical weapon, can't you? So you could.
I can't take high magic as so it would she would have to be she would have to be illusion.
And you're still wobbling on illusion?
Wow, this is where I'm now getting back to, right? Because to do illusion, then your signature spell is the one that you want really there. It's good. That's your glittering robe.
Okay.
So now I'll save the points for a spell familiar.
Okay.
Just
accept that you're getting something and glittering robe.
Yes.
Right.
Or maybe 3. So, you can possibly, because I could still get Column of Crystal. I could still get, Spectral Doppelganger is illusion. I'm talking out my backside. Yeah. I can't give her a big choppy
weapon and then Spectral Doppelganger. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I can give a Spectral Doppelganger, but without any
with a hand weapon, it's like, what the hell? What's the point?
Yeah. So I can pop her in just as I could even pop her in as a level 1, just give a glittering robe.
What's the casting value on it?
It's only an 8 up.
Yeah. So you just have glittering robe ready to rock and cock and get,
with the white lions as well, they have got heavy armor, so they've got a 5 up, but they also have a lion cloak that gives you a +1 armor value against non-magical shooting attacks. So against non-magical shooting attacks.
Against my incoming heavy armored crossbow spam. Yeah. You'll be solid. You'll be sorted. You're on a 4th save, man. No dramas. Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm thinking there. If I get into combat, because my Warlord is in there, even if you keep challenging, I'm just going to feed a white lion.
And he can just go and go and go. So I'm not my
I can start challenging a white lion. So even if I come into like a big character, I can just go challenge. Right, you're going to chop me up, but you're not.
If you're losing a white lion a turn, that's fine. But you kind of feels like you need a choppy character in there to take advantage of that.
I've put the BSB in there anyway.
So the BSB goes in there. So he's just wanging his 3 attacks with his whatever weapon it might be into the enemy each turn, whilst the white lion gets shoved in front of him every turn, basically.
Yeah. And then if you come up against a choppy character that might kill 4 or 5, I just go, right, okay, I know you can't. You're going to still have the wounds against combat res, but you're only going to be killing 1 white lion with them, aren't you?
And so you're getting the volume into them, and they're not getting the volume into you.
That's the plan.
Well.
And also they're open order.
Okay.
So all right, you lose +1 in your combat res.
You do.
But from right, once you've moved, you can rotate 90 degrees.
I think there is something like that.
Yes. So I've got a bit more maneuverability.
I don't do open order, so you'll actually know better than me on that one, to be fair.
Yeah. So that is where I'm kind of thinking my next.
So is that instead of Swordmasters or in addition to?
No, I think instead of.
No! Simon, the dream is dead! The opening of Lord of the Rings is dead!
No, I don't want to run Swordmasters. But I just think by the time, I think you got me talking, because my brain was going 10 to a dozen when we were playing. I was just like, right, what's going on here? I'd gone into, right, what's going and I'm like, but you've got to invest so many points. Whereas White Lions,
can give them an extra. Just a little Swordmasters, just a little crumb of Swordmasters. Little 7x3, little 6x3.
There is a little possibility of that, because I love them. They're my favourite.
If you take the White Lion army, can you just not get Swordmasters?
No, can't get them.
So you have to go for a Grand Army if you want to have both.
Yeah, if you go for high up rounds, creation war, creation, whatever, war host. So you can get your general, you can get a Prince Noble, Mage, Chieftain, Stormweaver, and Lion Mane, who's pretty cool. And core units is Spearmen, Archers, Creation, Woodmen, and White Lions. Special are White Lions, Lion Chariot, and War Lions. And rare are Sisters of Avalon, Great Eagle, Bolt Thrower, Lion Guard, and Shadow Warriors.
Are you thinking of getting more bolt throwers? Or have you given up on them now?
No, they were terrible. I mean, say they hit was terrible.
More archers. More archers.
Yeah, I'm thinking, yeah, you could just go archers, because you can't even get I think you can only have one. Well, you can get 2 blocks of White Lions, block of Spearmen, block of Archers, maybe, and then that would be.
So yeah, I was gonna say, what does the new army look like? Because in my mind, can't you take 500 points of core,
yes,
and then a unit of Swordmasters and a unit of White Lions, and that's your army?
Yeah, basically.
And maybe,
but, I'll tell you what I'm up to where I'm sort of at the moment.
Yeah.
So,
because I don't want it before you go. I know you don't like Loth and Seaguard, but in a weird sort of way, they're quite good at filling up core because they're more expensive. So
I'm just getting to that.
Okay, great minds think alike.
So, I mean, I've just sort this. I need to play around this. At the moment, I've got a block of 22 White Lions.
Okay.
With 2 characters, 24. 5 Dragon Princes.
Interesting. The Silver Helms are finally gone.
Yeah, so they've just
after 2 every opportunity they're gone.
Yeah, I'll give them every chance, but Stormweaver. Now I've got her at level 3 at the moment with 2 power scrolls, but I can save 60 points there. Noble with a war banner, and I can give him Sacred Incense as well, which then makes you -1 to hit and shooting. So
interesting.
So put them in there, -1 shooting, 4 up save.
Pretty resilient. Pretty resilient. Yeah.
Can you stack minuses to hit?
I don't see why you couldn't.
Well, I can make you -2 to hit because I've got
glittering
robes. So
I will say this: you have this obsession with stacking defensive bonuses. I think 1's enough. And the reason I think 1 is enough is because you've got to think there's going to be a lot of shooting that won't be rolling to hit you, like stone throwers. So just go for 1. Go for 1.
That's what I'm thinking. So anyway, that was just when I was playing around.
Yeah.
A noble that's going with a block or something with a sword of might. A noble on a griffin, just for a bit of a roaming, get in the back. I mean, 262 points.
Very disposable. That he can fly off and do something. If he dies, you're not giving up general. Blah 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 blah. Yeah.
Talisman of protection. And then I've got at the moment 27 spearmen to make it a block at 28, 10 archers and 20 sea guard, and that's 1,863 points.
Nice. So block of spearmen, block of sea guard. Did you say swordmasters?
No swordmasters.
So block of spearmen, block of sea guard, block of white lions, and then a character, and then a few archers.
Yeah.
I
could even take the archers out. That'll save 100 points. I've got 115 points over in core, so I've got some there I can save. And then, that's with a level 3 Stormweaver as well. Could not drop her down to level 1, so she gets promoted to being the general. Demoted in terms of magical casting ability.
Well, how you narrative it is, she's got so much more she's thinking about now. She's got to command the general, all the logistics. So her mind's doing 1,000 things. She can't quite concentrate on the magic like she used to. There you go.
So that's where I'm up to at the moment.
That's really interesting. I quite like the idea. If you drop the archers.
Yeah, well, if you drop the Sacred Incense, that's 35 points.
If you drop the Sacred Incense, drop the archers, drop Helene down to level 1, combine that with the points you have left over. I'm thinking there's points for swordmasters there. I'm thinking there's points for sword masters, man. I'm thinking there is.
Well, the other option will be... Right.
That's 4 bricks of infantry right there.
Or what I could do, right? Get rid of them. Bosh, bosh, bosh. Right. Level 1, bosh. So, take out the sacred incense.
Yeah.
Drop a lean down to level 1.
Yeah.
Get rid of the archers.
Yeah.
Block a 29 Sea Guard, block a 20 Sea Guard.
Ooh. Still, is that just 500 points, is it? Or is that a bit over?
That's 622 because they're expensive Sea Guard.
Okay.
Then I've still got... what did you say? You just want sword masters in, don't you?
Well, I'm just thinking, if you take just the minimum amount of core, can you get a brick of sword masters led by a basic noble in there?
So if I do that,
that's my thinking. Okay. And then your list is essentially, how if it was me, what I would do, size, I would have a brick of spearmen, a brick of sword masters, and a brick of white lions, and then what I'd have that's like 3 melee bricks, which is pretty nice. And then either I'd go for a 4th melee brick, or I'd start just basically putting archers in there to get my core requirement up. And then you've got basically three big melee bricks, and a character who can fly around projecting force, and some archers who can also project some force, because the longbows are not insignificant.
So if you went with spearmen,
I have no idea if that works. That's just me saying that's what I would like. Make it happen.
Right. So noble with the hunter.
Right.
As BSB.
Right.
Noble with the Warden Sappery, so I don't need to give him a special weapon because he can just use his sword mastery.
Yep.
Stormweaver, level 1, 2 power scrolls. Noble on a griffin, 25 Sea Guard, 20 spearmen, 22 white lions, 5 dragon princes, and 23 sword masters is 1975.
And is that all requirements covered?
Yes.
Boom, baby. We got everything. We got cavalry. So you got in the griffin.
Don't we go the griffin?
So you've got force projection via griffin and cav. Yeah. A Sea Guard can also be force protection with their bows. They're happy. They can happily sit on an objective. They go wide on an objective, just firing fucking bow shots at people. And when the enemy gets close to them, stand and shoot and redress the ranks. So you could just sit there holding that objective for a while. And then you've got your white lions and sword masters going down a flank, snapping necks and cashing checks.
Yeah.
I think we finally cracked it. I think we've cracked it.
I think those sword masters will get chewed up by anyone who's got any kind of what do you call it?
Shooting.
Any kind of shooting.
So I think you'll be fine. Because no, they won't. And I'll tell you why. Because the enemy's going to be too busy trying to kill white lions and the griffin. That's going to be running at their shooting units.
Yeah, there is that.
That buys the time for the sword masters to close the gap. Are they drilled, the sword masters?
No, I can't drill them. I can for...
Do you have the points?
Yes, 1998 points for drilled.
Right. So start off in marching column, march 15 inches, and then drilled and move forward normally in the next turn.
Yeah.
That's how you get a wiggle on. That's how you get a wiggle on.
Some bastard runs 3 cannons and puts...
You cross that, then you don't go marching column, Simon. No, adapt your plans. It's not World War I where you open your order packet and you've got to carry your orders out no matter what.
that could be, yeah. There you go. That's not very much magic in there.
Helene's in there, right?
Yeah, with 1 spell.
That's all she needs. I mean, let's be honest. Let's be honest. That you only used 1 spell last game, which is basically glittering growth.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is,
I only used 1 spell in my game. I just use Earthen Rampart. 1 good spell is worth its weight in gold.
Yeah. Well, the other thing, I take the Dragon Princes out and put a chariot in there instead. I can shave 80 points there.
Could you get 2 chariots?
No.
Not a Tuanok. Tuanok's cheap, man. I don't know if they're any good, but they're cheap.
Rare units. So Lion Chariot's 125. Well, I could do actually. Yeah, Tyrannop's only 75.
I mean, I will warn you, if you're worried about cannons, chariots are the exact opposite thing you want to take. Because cannons do one-shot chariots most times. But it's just, hey, look, it's a unit you can try out, and I'll make sure I bring orcs and goblins against it so they don't get...
No, you can't do that. It's road to the tournament.
No, I would say, I think Chariot Land is post-tournament. I'm just going to...
Yeah.
It's post-tournament. But I think pre-tournament, I prefer your other list. I've never been a fan of Chariots in Old World. The cannon fodder, literally.
Or I could put my I could put my battle standard bearer in. No, actually, no, I couldn't. Yeah, so that's.
I thought you were going to say, I could get more silver helms, and I was like, Simon, no, stop it, no silver helms, stop it.
That's 1998 points with.
So read the list one more. Read the list, just the summary reviews. You don't have to get the equipment.
Right.
Read the summary. Yeah.
Noble BSB.
Yeah.
Noble, standard, Boggo. But he's got the thing. Yeah. Stormweaver. Noble on a Griffin. 25 Seaguard with shields and full command.
Yeah.
And warbows. 20 Spearmen.
Yeah.
Full command. 22 White Lions, full command. 5 Dragon Princes, 23 Swordmasters.
I like it, bro. I like it. You've got 3 units of force projection there. One light being the bows, and then the Dragon Princes and the Griffin. Yeah. You've got the Swordmasters with drilled so they can get up the board because they need to move quickly because they're not going to have Helene with the glittering robe. Yeah. You've got the White Lions. I mean, all of those units are force projection when you think about it, but some of them are just a little faster than others. You've Griffin guys hunting war machines. Your bowmen are holding the objective, doing volleys until they need to go with naval discipline. And then you've got, I think the temptation would be to have the White Lions and the Swordmasters on different flanks, but I think you have them on the same flank.
I'd put them both together. Yeah.
And they just go and they just hack. I think they're doing it, man. I think they're doing it. They're earning and burning. I think that's what they're doing. That's the list for next time.
Well, it could be. Well, I've got one game before Sunday.
No, there you go. One game. I don't know how I'm going to adapt my list, but I do think it's going to be maybe one extra volley gun. But I said that in the last post game, so I'm not being funny with you there. But I'm going to think about it. Because obviously I don't want to overly skew. And I did quite like having my Outcast Wizard. So my list may not change. My list may just stay the same.
Oh, there you go. That'd be interesting. I'm busy swatching up on all the maneuvers things so I don't catch myself out again. Yeah,
it's good. I still am getting used to a lot of the maneuvers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still am. So we've talked about Renegade Crowns. We've talked about the road to the tournament, adapting the lists and all that kind of stuff, which is cool. There is one small topic I want to talk about, which we'll keep this to sort of 5-10 minutes, because we want to try and keep this to sort of an hour long. And there's some potential news on the horizon, and I don't know if it's going to be this year, next year, or in a little while. But I've wanted to keep this to the end because obviously we've had a really positive and hype-tastic video today. And so I want to sort of leave this bit at the end because there's the potential for it to be a little bit more coming back down to earth, as it were. But there's been now this isn't old world related, but it is old world adjacent. And it has implications for the old world, which is there was an announcement on Warhammer Community yesterday at time of recording this about Blood Bowl, and Games Workshop basically announcing that they were going to be changing the Blood Bowl teams in the new season, which is basically the new edition, and how they were basically going to be implementing their policy of if it's not in the box, you don't get rules for it. If they don't make a unit for it, you don't get it, basically. Now, obviously, the reason why, obviously, this has nothing to do with Blood Bowl. Simon, you've played it, but it was like years ago. So we're not diving into what this means for Blood Bowl, although there's definitely some consternations because this is going to be affecting some of these specialist positions and stuff like that existed. But I think the reason why I want to mention it now, just as a sort of an end piece, is Games Workshop in the past had this policy of we only make rules for, and we only give you options for what's in the box with their main games like Warhammer 40k. But we've seen over the last 12 months them actually implement it in a much wider array of games. We've seen them do it in Horus Heresy, although they did have to backtrack that one with the 207-page PDF, and they did it with Lord of the Rings. And they've done it now.
I've missed that. What, on Horus Heresy 3.0?
Yeah, did you not hear about it?
I completely missed that.
Are you being serious?
Yeah, I completely missed it. I completely checked out Horus Heresy because of your ranting.
Oh. So I thought you knew about this.
No, when did it? Was I away?
I mean, maybe. I mean, I talk about it all the time, but I think what must have happened is you just tune me out.
Yeah, very possible.
So in Horus Heresy, they have implemented if it's not in the box, you don't get rules for it. If we don't make a box for it, it's going to Legends. And so they did this policy, and there was a huge pushback from the community. So Games Workshop made a Legacies of the Dark Age document, and there is a little debate about it because they always said they were going to do this legacy document, but it's very obvious that it wasn't meant to be this long, because the Legacies of the Dark Age document is now 207 pages long, and it's actually longer than most of the
Oh, yes, well, yeah. Oh, it was just after I got back from holiday.
Yeah, so it's actually longer than most of the Libers. For the faction. It's absolutely massive document, and they missed their deadline for getting it out because obviously they were adding more stuff into it and so on and so forth. But yeah, so they did it with Heresy. So now if you want to, yeah, they really, and obviously Heresy is a game where it was built on the vision of Alan Bligh, and this was when when he made Heresy, there was no, if we don't make it, you don't get rules for it. So he just, him and his team obviously just made whatever data sheets they thought were cool at the time, and were like, yeah, go and convert them. The old GW mentality, right? Go and convert them, go and kit bash them, go nuts kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so obviously this was when Games Workshop brought in their policy of, we'll call it the dreaded policy, so I don't have to keep saying box, don't make it, that kind of stuff. When Games Workshop brought in their dreaded policy, it cleaned through a lot of
armies. I remember that.
It cleaned through a lot of armies. So they've done it to Heresy, they've done it to Lord of the Rings, they've done it to 40k, they've done it to Sigmar, and they've just done it to the niche of the niche, which is Blood Bowl. So I think, whether you like it or not, this policy is coming to every game system that Games Workshop makes. Now, just saying that, I hear that the cry of 1 million Necromunda players cry out in anguish and then suddenly silence. But because Necromunda is literally, I mean, God, that is the game of just conversions.
Yeah, basically.
But I do wonder if we take it, and I don't, by the way, I won't, if and when this comes in, I will not be happy. I'm not accepting it as just accept it. I'm hoping that GW does this policy, and then the Square Base guys basically release a Renegade pack for every faction with the old options still in there, basically. But yeah, that's what I would use. But I do wonder if this comes to Old World, what the implications would be. Because, and the reason I mention it is, if you look in the arcane journals, for a lot of factions, there's this grey area of units. And if we look at Renegade Crowns specifically, they do not have any official models. None whatsoever. But there's a designer's note basically underneath every unit in the Renegade Crowns book, which says you could use this, you could represent this unit by using Empire State Troops or Bretonnian men at arms, or, you know, for the knights, you know, Empire Knights and Bretonnian Knights and so on and so forth. So it's a really, I see that as like a gray area because they don't make the boxes officially, but there's this nod and a wink like, hey, you could use our models to represent this.
Yeah.
So, but then it's like, but the state troops don't come. It's like it's going to get really messy because the state troops don't come with full plate armor or heavy armor. So it kind of makes me think, how, if they implemented this for something like Renegade Crowns, how messy is it going to get where they're like, if you take a veteran, you know, it's like, because if you like representing a veteran sellsword with a great weapon, that's using the great sword kit, right? So would it get messy where they're like, if you take a veteran sellsword with a great weapon, you must take like full plate. It's going to get real messy. So I do wonder what the implications could be.
I don't think armor's the end of the world, to be honest.
Hmm.
I think weapons, yeah, but because, well, you know, it's a reinforced breastplate, it's a male undershirt. That I've never really thought, because you know, you look at, do they make a high elf prince on a dragon with light armor? No, they have the same.
That's true. Yeah.
So I don't. Yeah, weapons, yes, but I don't think armor's going to be that much of a, you know, it's made out of mithril, or is mithril thing in Warhammer, I don't know. You know, it's made out of X, Y, and Z. He's got a chain undershirt on. She's got, you know, so I don't think armor's the end of the world. If it's weapons, yes, but
it's interesting though, because it does, again, the implications can be quite severe, and I don't want to be doom and gloom. And I'm not being salty about this at all. We spoke about this before the video, and we said we're going to be objective about it, and we're not going to be salty about it or anything like that. But the implications of this can be quite dire because it's absolutely, is antithetical the right word?
no idea what you.
It's the antithesis. It's the exact opposite of the design philosophy of Warhammer Roll. Because think about this, right? In Warhammer 40k, your characters kind of come with set loadouts a lot of the time now, right? Because in the box, like your Necron Lord, he only comes with the war scythe, so he has to take a war scythe, right? That kind of thing. Roughly speaking.
Yeah.
But obviously in Old World, you have the list of magical items. And there's a rule in the list of magical items that says what's in a name. You know, you don't have the Sword of Might doesn't have to be a sword. It could be an axe. Well, that entire concept doesn't work in the policy of if it's not in the box, we don't make rules for it.
No, but then
because again, and I'm not trying to be doom and gloom or alarmist at all. We're throwing stuff out there. But the idea that Games Workshop would then, you know, they could release a box and it's like, this is a high elf prince on steed in armor of meteoric iron and sword of might. And that's now the loadout he has to have. And the thing is, you say they'd never do it, but they have done it to nearly, in one capacity or another, they have done it to every single character.
I think the thing with, you know, let's just look at high elves for a second.
In other games, when I say every other character, they've done it in every other game. Yeah.
If you look at, I mean, if we're looking Old World specifically, 90% of the kits are old kits, so they're going to have to then, if they're going to do that, they have to basically redo every single kit. And they might do that. Can't see that's happening anytime soon.
No, but they are redoing some new Marauders coming out, which are a good thing, but they are limited slightly in some of the weapons they can take, potentially.
Yeah. It might happen. I'm sure it will happen at some point, but I just don't think it's going to be happening any time that we need to lose any sleep over.
Yeah, I mean, it could.
Is my honest.
I know what you mean, and I think I really wonder how Games Workshop plans on squaring that circle, because if they go in there with a bulldozer, as we have seen them do, I think it's going to have some pretty dire knock-on effects for Old World if suddenly all the characters are phenomenally limited in what they can take. Units, see, you know what's interesting? It doesn't bother me so much with units, because units are pretty monoculture already. When you think about it, you have to give when you give a unit upgrade out to units, you have to give every model in the unit the spear, or every model in the unit. So it doesn't really bother me for units. I don't think there's going to be as much. I'm sure there'll be some knock-on effects there, but as you said, most of the kits that exist right now are pretty accommodating, and the rate of new kits we're getting for Old World is quite slow. It's quite slow. They're not flying out, which is good, because I like the old models. But for me, the worry is around characters, because I think one of the best things about Old World is the characters you can build are the ones that you make. You're not taking a set data sheet. You've built your character. Like, I mean, put it in your perspective, Simon. Helene. Yeah. You know, Helene and what you've given her and all that kind of stuff. It started off as just, oh, this is what I'm taking because I want to build this character. And now we have this whole story that's been gone to weave around her, and how she's like a battle mage. And now she's been promoted up to the general. There's loads of stuff there that's really, really, really cool. And you've got my characters in my Empire army, where I've got Bremerdan Gorst, who's the guy who's got the two swords, and there's so much character in the characters, and I worry that I worry what the implications of the inevitable, and it is inevitable, I think, the inevitable dreaded policy would be for Old World.
I can't see it's happening anytime soon. And maybe the fact that they've had to go that in depth to, with Horus Heresy, just kind of says you don't do that with Old World, you don't do it with Heresy, and you do it with everything else.
The thing is, we can only hope that, because that Games Workshop can see the impacts of this policy, and there's one thing that Games Workshop likes, it's money.
Yeah.
They love money. And I think they've implemented this policy in a lot of areas, and I think it's caused them to lose money. I mean, I don't think it's not made Lord of the Rings suddenly the go-to game after enduring the natural 40k drought we get at the end of every edition. It's not made every 40k player go over to Horus Heresy, has it? No. Do you know the game where everyone's going to during the end of 40k drought? It's fucking Old World. Everyone's loving Old World right now, and I think Games Workshop, if on some miracle you watch this video, my advice to you is this: leave it alone. Well, it's selling itself, boys. It's selling if you're an executive that wants to make your mark at Games Workshop, I'm going to give you the easiest way of making your mark. Be the person that makes the decision not to implement the dreaded policy, and you'll be CEO overnight. I'm telling you. That's how you make your mark. Yeah. But just release new model kits. That's all Old World needs. It just needs new model kits and new flavorful rules like Renegade crowns, and it will fly. It will go to the moon. That's all it needs.
I just can't see it's going to happen anytime. I
think it's going to happen. I think it'll happen within 3 years, 3 to 5 years.
No, maybe it does. But I'll worry about that in 3 to 5 years.
I mean, that's it, right? You can't change it, can you? You can't change it. So.
Right, it's just like irate about something I'm enjoying now because of something that's going to happen in potentially.
Very, very true. Very true.
Can't change it.
It's one of those where I guess you enjoy it. Well, you enjoy the time you have whilst you have it, kind of thing, and you hope for the best and prepare for the worst, kind of thing.
Honestly, I think people just like a bit of drama.
Yeah, true, and that's why I said I'm a broken record. Repeat to myself at this point. We weren't trying to get particularly drama-ish with this. It was more just a thought exercise of...
Yeah, that wasn't this conversation. That is just a general modern life and the internet. And I keep saying this, I sound like a proper angry old man shouting at cloud. But people, I don't know, it is what it is. It's, you know, if Games Workshop were not doing, or any, you know, and as we talked about on Football Manager, it's very similar because of what's just happened with the new Football Manager.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were looking forward to that game.
I am, and I think it's quite good, but there's some, you know, but I'll give you the point I'm trying to make. If you make these games completely inaccessible to new players, you know, and actually, you know, and here's a great, if I want to get into Horus Heresy right now, okay, 3.0, what do I now? There's a 206-page bloody rule booklet that's just that I didn't know anything about, and I'm, you know, reasonably. So how if as a new player accessible is that?
So I agree, but I also would say that is a rod of GW's own making.
Yeah, but if, as again, goes back to what the community wants, or we want updated rules, we want that, you know, that's you want to get into Age of Sigmar, you know, how much back reading have you got to? So what they're probably trying to do is they make the game more accessible and easier for, you know, to sell to more people.
Can I ask you a question though?
Yeah.
Because I think there is this. I used to feel the same way, and I used to sort of think the same way. You know, Games Workshop's doing this to make the game more accessible, but
yeah.
I do think that there's a particular kind of person who will even entertain. No, 1 second. Will you even entertain the idea of wargaming in the first place? Right? Autists. Yeah, so, but hang on. Let me ask. Okay, you finish your point, because I do have one question for you. But you finish your point.
Right. So go back, whatever it was, 2017, was it that Fantasy died?
Roughly. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And why did it die? Because it wasn't attracting new players.
Yes, but there's many reasons. But okay, yeah.
But essentially, if new people were buying armies and getting into that game, it would not have turned into Sigmar. Essentially.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, you know, that I think that's because why would it? So if making these games, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, I'm just saying I understand the logic, making these games slightly more accessible by saying, you know, you can buy a box of Space Marines, or you can buy a Dark Elf Blood Bowl team, or whatever, and that is all the models you're going to need, is going to make it a lot more accessible than going, here's a box of Space Marines. But also, if you want to be involved in the game, you're going to have to start customizing and kit bashing and this, that, and the other. That just makes it more inaccessible. So if they were letting these games wither on I'm not saying it's right. I'm not shilling at all, because
I've got my prepared pushback in a moment, but you finish your point.
That's it. They make, if they weren't attracting more people to the game, the games would die, and the community would be like, "Why are you not supporting the game?"
Okay,
because no one's playing it.
So my pushback on this is, I think there is this. I think there's a big disconnect between what people think new players want and how new players actually act. And you know, people think that new players want to just you know, open the box and build them exactly as they are. And firstly, I would say I don't necessarily think that making a game more accessible to try and appeal to, I don't really like this phrase, but appeal to like the lowest common denominator, I don't think that's right. Firstly, I think that's not the right way at all. And because firstly, I think, let me ask you this question. You're a wargamer. You've played war games for a while. You have recently come over to Warhammer the Old World.
Yes.
Warhammer the Old World is a game very much in the old style.
Yes.
Has the myriad of options put you off?
As an experienced wargamer, no. But if I was coming to that, if I was coming to that as a new wargamer, going right, yes, it would.
Okay, that's but you're an experienced wargamer, right? And you cut your teeth on Warhammer 40k, which is where everyone cuts their teeth, isn't it?
Most people, yeah.
Yeah, so the thing is, you're going to already be an experienced wargamer when you get to Old World, probably. But that's not even the main point I want to make. The main point I want to make is this. Whenever I see loads and loads of people get into this game all the time, and I actually see this probably I probably see this more than most people because I've got the online community. And do you want to know the first thing that I see most people do when they open their box up? They don't follow the instructions, and they start I've given my sergeant 2 pistols. Oh, I've given this guy like double flavor. And this guy's got a plasma gun and a las rifle. Do you know what I mean? New players love kit bashing stuff. And do you want to know what's really ironic? Do you want to know what's really ironic? The number of times I've had to have conversations with new people when they've come in there, they've opened the box, they've built all the miniatures how they've wanted to. And then they've come to me and gone, what do you think? And that's great, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, okay, now can you help me build a list? And I'm like, well, the thing is, you built 4 special weapons from that Cadian shock trooper box. So you can't use that because you can only take 2. And they're like, well, why have I got 4 then? They were like, but I just glued them together and I just made it work. So the funny thing is I think, they say, oh, you open the box up and you just build them and it's accessible for new players. But the number of times I've had very obviously disappointed new players who now feel like they fucked up because they've built the models wrong. And now they're like, oh, I built my models wrong. And now they feel like they have to go out and buy another box to get it right the second time. It's the exact opposite. I don't think it makes it accessible for new players. I think it means that most new players end up not doing what they want to do, which is building stuff the way they want to build it. That's just my perspective.
Yeah. I mean, you spend more time involved in it than I do. I mean, it's your...
I had one guy who built 8 flamers for a Cadian shock trooper squad and was really happy. He's like, look, I've got 8 flamers. That's going to be so powerful. And everyone had to be like, you can only take 2. You can only take 1 in a 10-man squad. And he was like, well, what do I do with the other 7? And I was like...
Get 8 more squads. 7 more squads.
yeah, exactly, man.
Yeah. I mean, well, it's just not something I'm going to lose any sleep over.
No, and it's what
but before I get bloody lambasted in the comments, I get if you people, I got it because I had a full firstborn army of Raven Guard. That I understand that. I get it.
You're playing devil's advocate in many ways. You're just explaining.
But I don't know. It's. There's degrees of obsession with this hobby, and there's people who want to, and there's people who want everything bespoke and conversion. I mean, I've met, people who will convert everything, and my level of conversion is I'll buy some Raven Guard custom heads because I think they look pretty cool. So everything is degrees of obsession.
Of course,
I do get that. And you can see it from both ways.
I think you can sort of see the logic behind it, but I think there's a big difference maybe between the logic and the reality. Something that sounds good in like a boardroom or a meeting and something that actually takes place on the tabletop. I think there can be, and I think that makes sense. There's always going to be a degree of separation in those things. What's the old saying? A plan never survives contact with the enemy. It kind of applies here as well, doesn't it? And I suppose the only thing I would say is for me personally, if I had to choose between the dreaded policy existing and the dreaded policy not existing, I think I would happily choose the dreaded policy not existing.
I mean, I think in an ideal world, there will be games where it exists and games where it doesn't exist.
Actually, I agree with that. Yeah.
You know what? And I think that is, and I think generally the community would fall into those 2 parts anyway, because I think if we went down to the club on a Tuesday night, that the vast majority of people there are, they are playing competitive 40k. They're not really asked about the conversions or whatever. There's some people who are really obsessive about their armies, but the vast majority of people are there playing competitive 40k.
Yeah, so I think that's true.
Whereas if you went to a Horus Heresy event at Element Games, where it was a where it was a narrative campaign, then you would see a level of obsession. So actually, you know what? And if they come out and went, well, yeah, that's the rule for 40k, and we've learned the lesson, and it's not going to be like a Horus Heresy because we've got two different clientele or people have their heresy, then that's great. Yeah, that works.
I think, you know what, man? I think you've absolutely hit the nail on the head. I think the policy can work, but they're applying it too liberally, and they're not applying it with discretion. And I think a level of discretion is required with this policy. And it's quite a nice positive note to end on, because we're not just like moaning about it. We're actually sort of talking about potential solutions. So I quite like this. But I think a level of discretion is required, because you need to understand who is going to be entering which game. Very few people are going to start with Lord of the Rings. Very few people are going to start with Necromunda. Very few people are going to. I think relatively few people will start with Old World. I think.
Well, I think it's that like I said, that's returning fantasy players or people who are coming,
who have played in a 40k and they've cut their teeth on that, and now they're looking for something else. And I think Games Workshop should. I mean, I don't like it, but I can totally understand them being like, we know this is our end. It should be, honestly, it should be Kill Team and 40k. Those two. That's it.
Yeah.
And then everything after that, Games Workshop should be aware that the majority of the populations in those other niche games are actually going to be ex-40k players who have left 40k because they've become more experienced wargamers to the point where they're now like, I need something that's a bit deeper. I can cut my teeth on a bit more. Or maybe someone who's just played so much competitive play, they need a break from that and they need to get their narrative on, because everyone gets burned out from playing different things. So yeah, if I could snap my fingers and become and become the CEO of Games Workshop, then I would halve the price of all the models. But before that, I'd be like, okay, we need to be more sensible and discerning with how we are applying this policy, because if we're applying it to games which are generally made up of more experienced wargamers, it's not going to make that game more accessible. It's just going to make that game less appealing.
Yeah, I mean, what I will say, just to, again, get for my shilling that I don't...
Shill away, sir, shill away.
But according to Google, they made £200 million before tax for the year ending June 2nd, 2024. So they probably know what they're doing.
They do, but
they do not need me on the board. Let's be honest.
Oh, I do have something to say about that, though. It's going to go deeper, Simon. It's going to go deeper.
You said this was going to be no more than an hour.
I know. Okay. I think that number is slightly misleading.
Oh, here we go.
Just slightly.
Tim's accountancy.
Not financial advice. I think that looking at the raw numbers alone can be deceptive, because you know who else looked really profitable until they weren't? Enron. But Lehman Brothers looked like a sure thing until suddenly they didn't. So that's the first thing I'd say. I'd be wary of that. The second thing I would say is that number, I think, was heavily, heavily boosted by the launch of Space Marine 2. Not only in the money that Games Workshop made off Space Marine 2 itself, but the amount of people that got from playing Space Marine into the hobby. And I really...
Space Marine 2 released after that.
Did it?
Yes.
Oh, fair enough then. Well, then I don't know what I'm talking about. There you go.
Look, listen. Look, I get it.
That was 2020. No, what about that? No, but that was 2024.
That was June 24, and Space Marine was last September. But
we've had a financial report since then.
Well, this is 2024. That was the one I was just looking at. I don't know what the last one. I think
we've had one since then where they made 280 million.
Well, there you go. Well, it was 200 million.
I'm pretty certain you're 1 year behind, and I think the 280 million one. I think a lot of that is Space Marine 2 at work, doing its magic, and I do wonder if Space Marine 2 hadn't happened, how Games Workshop would be looking. But of course, that's a high. I think Games Workshop's very good at making sure that every time things might dip, something else comes out to keep it going up. And Space Marine 2's got brought a lot of money in, and guess what's going to drop next? 11th edition, and that's going to do the same thing again. And they're very good at just every time it looks like whoa, whoa, whoa. It's like a roller coaster. Every time it's about to wobble.
We're all fully signed up, looking forward to a tournament on Sunday with their I just
yeah, that's true. But that's with Old World, and Old World's a bit different.
Yeah, life's too short to get angry about something you enjoy.
No.
Sometimes it's a bit like that Ricky Gervais joke, and he's talking about it's a bit like walking past a bit like walking past a lamppost in town and seeing a leaflet on it, sellotape to it, says guitar lessons available, and then phoning up angry going, I don't want bloody guitar lessons.
Yeah. Very true.
This is
However,
me.
I think that's I know what you're saying, but I already play guitar, Simon, and it would be like if suddenly they took 3 of the strings off the guitar. I think I'd suddenly be very much less interested in playing the guitar. Then I might phone up and complain to whoever made that decision.
I just people get irrationally angry about stuff, and this is coming from me, who lives in a constant state of grumpiness.
This is true. And
well,
on
anyway,
that positive note,
yeah, it may or may not happen.
We'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah, pretty much, and I'll enjoy it until and maybe.
You know what the positive note to end on is? We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. And the thing with Old World, it's a lot more community led than 40k. So I suspect that even if that policy did happen, I think that the community would probably. The community would.
Yeah, I think potentially that what's happened with Horse Heresy. I mean, God knows how much it costs to put a team of designers to write a 202-page rule update.
2 whole interns.
Yeah. 4 months after a game's release. So that obviously says that's not a wise.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know what? If they do it, they do it. I'll worry about it when it happens.
We'll worry about it when it happens. And it may not happen, so there's no point in worrying about it. There you go. Yeah. But it's still an interesting thought exercise on the implications and where it might hit Old World and all that kind of stuff. And interesting to see if Games Work, talk about how Games Workshop may you do it or may not. So yeah, I think still a good topic.
Yes.
But shall we wrap things up now, dearest Simon?
Yes. Yeah.
Very good. Well, Simon, as always, thank you so much for joining us for today's SaltCast. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for a game.
Yes.
Which should be good.
Yeah. I'll see. Just so you don't list 10, I'm going to completely rock up with a completely different list now.
I won't list it. I honestly not sure I'm even going to change anything.
I know you're
I'm honestly not sure. But
you're not going to rock up with a 1,200 point brick of Sword Masters going, no, I think this is going to work definitely this time.
Yeah, the problem was you didn't put enough points into the Sword Master you did. But no, Simon, seriously, man, a pleasure as always. And I think always good to get your perspective on this, man. And let us know. It is.
My perspective on anything.
You always make me think about things from another angle, which is important. You don't want to live in an echo chamber.
True.
But not only a big thank to Simon, but of course a big thank to all of you guys who watched today's video. Let us know what you think down in the comment section below. What do you think of Renegade Crowns? What do you think of Simon's new approach to his High Elves? And what do you think of the potential of the dreaded policy coming to Warhammer the Old World? And how do you think the community would react? I think we'd end up overcoming it, but what do you guys think? If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like and subscribe and all that good stuff. And as always, we'll see you guys next time. Would you like to know more? If so, then please consider becoming a channel member or patron. By supporting the channel, not only will you be doing your part, but you'll also be helping me create more content for your viewing pleasure and unlocking a whole host of perks. You get everything from a badge next to your name, custom emojis, but the big one is access to the Mordian Glory Discord server, an online community with almost 2,500 active members. It's always popping off in the MG Discord. We've got channels for army lists, hobbying, tactics, stories, and even a pretty spicy meme section as well. For all you greenhorns that wanted to see the Mordian Glory Hole, today is your lucky day. And joking aside, I do want to say a massive thank you to all of the current channel members and Patreons. You guys are amazing. Truly the lifeblood of the channel. I could not do Mordian Glory full-time without the incredible and generous support of my members. So thank you guys so much. And last but certainly not least, I want to say a personal thank you to all of my top tier Patreons. These are the War Masters, the people who have truly gone above and beyond the call of duty. So a heartfelt thank you to Redfield, 32, Jurgens, Miasma, Try Again, Bragg, RJ, Scorpion, Bonbon Vert, Lord Pryor, Nicholas Walsh, John Stubbs, Guardian, Varney, Sword, Fish Trombone, Picklock, The Forged. Seriously guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your support is incredible and it makes a huge difference. Thank you so much. That's all for now. Hope you've all enjoyed today's video, and of course, as always, see you guys next time.